"I can read your mind," said the little girl. The judge laughed until she whispered the secret he thought no one would ever know. Moments later, Judge Matthew Carraway was on his knees, trembling as the courtroom descended into chaos. But this wasn't magic. This was justice. The courtroom buzzed with curiosity when the doors swung open. A barefoot child walked slowly down the center aisle, no older than 8. Her name was Naomi Bell. She looked too small, too quiet, to hold so much tension in her gaze. Her cheeks were smudged with dirt. Her coat hung loosely over her shoulders, sleeves frayed at the wrists. She didn't look like she belonged in a courtroom, let alone at the center of one. Judge Matthew Carraway, known for his stern demeanor and perfect conviction record, glanced up from his bench. "Who brought this child here?" "She insisted on speaking with you, sir," the bailiff stammered. "Wouldn't speak to anyone else." The judge frowned. "Why me?" Naomi stepped forward, her voice soft but clear. "Because I can read your mind." Laughter erupted from the gallery. Even Carraway chuckled, leaning back in his chair. "That's a good one. You can read minds? What am I thinking right now, little psychic?" Naomi didn't smile.
"You don't believe me."
"Just like the others. Not until I tell you what you've been hiding." The laughter faded. Carraway's grin stiffened. 2 days earlier, Naomi had been found wandering the city alone. To the bystanders who tried to help, she said unsettling things. To a sharply dressed man, "Your wife knows you lied about that trip to Phoenix." To a cashier, "You skimmed $200 from the register last week." To a businesswoman, "You told your sister's fiancé you'd leave town, but you haven't." Each time, their faces turned pale. Some gasped. Some fled. Some trembled. The police were called. One officer knelt down. "Where are your parents, sweetie?" Naomi whispered, "They're gone." "How do you know these things?" he asked gently. Naomi blinked slowly. "I hear their secrets, their thoughts, the ones they pretend don't exist." "She's disturbed," another officer muttered. Then Naomi turned to him and said, "You're still wearing the cologne she gave you." The woman from the motel. Thursday nights. The color drained from his face. She kept asking for Judge Carraway. The officers brought her to the courthouse. Back in the courtroom, Naomi walked right up to the bench. "You've hidden it for years," she said. "The thing that makes you wake up covered in sweat." Judge Carraway's smile vanished. "This is nonsense," he said flatly. Naomi raised her hand and gently placed it on the crown of his head. "Don't touch him," someone shouted. But Naomi didn't move. "You didn't mean to kill her," she whispered. "You shoved her. It was an argument. You thought she'd get back up. But she didn't." The room grew so silent, it felt like the world stopped breathing. "You buried her by the water," Naomi said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Near the roots. You covered her with stones. Told yourself you had no choice." Carraway's eyes widened. He gripped the bench with both hands. "Enough," he roared. "You're lying. This is slander." Naomi didn't move. "Then why are your hands shaking?" "You kept a piece of her," Naomi continued, voice rising. "A bracelet. Her favorite. You kept it as a punishment. Or maybe as a reminder." The judge's breath caught. "It's under the floorboards," she said. "In your home study. A box with an old photo. And blood-stained fabric." A man stood in the crowd, shouting. "Her name was Lila. She was my sister. You said she ran away." Reporters surged forward. Carraway stumbled from the bench, trembling. "I never meant to. It was an accident." We fought. I panicked. Naomi stepped back, her hand falling to her side. She says she can rest now, she said quietly. Someone finally heard her. Police burst through the courtroom doors. Judge Matthew Carraway, you are under arrest for the murder of Lila Bennett. He didn't argue. He couldn't. As he was let out, a reporter ran up to Naomi. How did you know? Who told you all of this? Naomi looked straight at him, her brown eyes calm. I don't just hear thoughts, she said. I hear the voices of the ones you tried to silence. And with that, she walked barefoot down the steps, leaving behind a courtroom no one would ever forget. Moral: secrets may sleep, but they are never silent. Sometimes it takes the smallest voice to speak the